The Eagles at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. The White House today to celebrate their Super Bowl 59 championship. Nick Sirianni, Lane Johnson presenting President Donald Trump with a personalized jersey. We have a live report from John Clark from the White House a little bit later in our show. And with that, we welcome you here to Birds Huddle, presented by Toyota, official automotive partner of the NFL. Alongside Barrett Brooks, I'm Amy Fiddle. And B, you went to the White House once upon a time, 19 years ago, as a Super Bowl champ with the Steelers.
Way to rub it in. Way to rub it in.
Well, you were there. I've been, but only as a tourist.
Well, I was with President George Bush. Number two, the younger, the son.
The son.
Now, I'm not
Wasn't that
old.
long ago.
Not that old, but the son. Yes, we went there. Yes, it was nice.
How was it?
It was really nice. I didn't know that Casey Hampton and him used to lift weights together. Now, Casey Hampton is a defensive lineman.
Casey Hampton is not a small man.
Yes, he's the nose guard.
George Bush and Casey Hampton lifted weights together?
They lift weights together at the University of Texas in
That is
Austin.
amazing.
It was like common knowledge, too.
Oh, everybody knew it. Why not? Probably different weight sets if
Can
I
you
ever
imagine
get.
spotting Casey?
No. We'll have more on the White House visit for the Birds coming up in just a moment. John Clark's going to join us live from D.C. But now we hit our three-point stance presented by Toyota. First up, Howie Roseman gets a B+ for this draft, according to Barrett. It's a B+ for B. I like it.
Yes.
And all the Eagles made 10 picks, including 5 first picks on defense alone. So on Saturday, he spoke about the plan that they executed.
I think for us, obviously, the offseason composes of free agency and composes of the draft, and then it keeps going, until we certainly line up for that Thursday night football game at home, which we're really excited about. So we'll continue to try to find guys to improve the quality of our roster, and this was a great step to do that today and this weekend.
All right, B, you gave him a B+. Why'd you give him B+?
First off, because that number 1 pick, Jihad Campbell, we don't really understand how good he is as fans, but this guy's very versatile, very good, has the attitude, can run, can deliver pops that that you'll dream about the way he's gonna be hitting people. Jihad Campbell is a freakish type of athlete playing a position we needed right now. So yes, I think that was a great pick. He was going to be a top 10 pick in this draft if it wasn't for his injury history. I just think he's going to come back. If you look at him now, look at where he was at the when he was at the draft. How he got up. He's moving around. You didn't see anything wrong with his shoulder, and he played that way anyways. Then the second round pick. Everybody's saying, well, why would we get that safety? Why didn't we get all the safety? Because this guy is more suited to what we needed, and that's McCord. We needed a safety that's a deep safety, a last line of defense safety, a safety that's over the top, that's not going to be beat over the top. And not just because, and it's him right there, number 4 from Texas. And it's not because of his small, I don't care about that, but what his position is going to be is going to help this team because he's going to be that deep safety, which will allow Blankenship to use more of his abilities, up and around the line of scrimmage.
Right.
He can do more from that position. He can be more instinctive at that position. And then Ty Robinson, he's probably my favorite of the draft. This guy is not trying to run around you. He's going to run through you. Mm-hmm. He's vicious. He wants to take your head off. He doesn't like who's in front of him, but then he's going to help you up after the play. That's the type of play we got here from Nebraska. And I know Cam is elated. He's excited.
Yeah, he is.
This guy's from Nebraska. I hated Nebraska.
He was so excited when he drafted him.
Exactly. But, this guy can play.
Yeah, he can.
He can really play, yes.
It's good stuff right there. All right, our second stance, homecoming for Kyle McCord, another South Jersey kid picked by the Birds, the Mount Laurel native and St. Joe's prep product, selected by the Birds, 6th round. Here he is with our John Clark yesterday on the excitement of joining the team he grew up rooting for.
It still really hasn't hit me. It's super surreal. It almost doesn't feel right saying it just because you grow up dreaming about it. Now it's reality. So just super excited, honestly. My mom always joked about, what did the Eagles draft? Obviously you have no idea. And so when I saw the 2-5 area code, I was like, there's no way. And then talking to Howie and then the rest of the coaches, it was just, it was awesome. So letting them know that I was staying home, it was just the cherry on top.
All right, McCord started for Ohio State in 2023, transferred to Syracuse last year, led the country in passing yards last season. Presumably, he's here to battle Dorian Thompson-Robinson for the 3rd quarterback spot. What are the chances he wins that 3rd QB spot?
It's going to be tough for him to win that QB spot, considering the fact that, DTR has played a little bit more than him at this point, but he's going to be cheaper than him. Both guys we're talking about that are back of Tanner McKee and DTR are going to be up for contracts in about a year and a half. So he's going to be the cheaper version right now. So he's going to be on the squad. He might be on the practice squad, but he will be here. The other two guys, I can see Tanner McKee being a starter somewhere.
Yeah.
And teams are going to be looking at him in that type of way. You know, I believe they probably fielded some calls for Tanner McKee to be a starter. So, you know, at this point, you got to have somebody that's going to be a backup on this team and be here for a while. So I think he's going to fit that bill. And plus, you know, McCord's a local guy. You know, so why not have him there? I know his father. I met his father actually when I went to go buy a car. One of my best friends, you know, owns a car, you know, Cherry Troplex. So, I mean, I talk to him all the time.
Fun fact.
Yeah, so, you know,
right
I saw him, I met him there. Great guy, great family. And plus, you know, Pat, you know, one of the guys who works in, you know.
St. Joe's Prep.
He's wearing his shirt today. He's wearing it. Why would he wear it today? Pat, why would you wear that today?
Listen, prep guys can puff their chests out. They got a couple of guys in the NFL.
Just a
more
couple.
Than a couple.
Right.
More than a couple. All right, number 3, the Eagles will be back at the White House again next year. Of course, that would mean they'd be Super Bowl champs for the second straight year, and we like it. Today, they made the trip to D.C. to meet with President Trump and celebrate the second Lombardi Trophy in franchise history. This comes a day after Saquon Barkley played golf with the president at his club in Bedminster, New Jersey. John Clark is in our nation's capital. John, great day, great afternoon. A bunch of people in attendance. I know it was a lot of fun down there. Thanks for joining us. What was it like? What was the experience like for the Birds down there in D.C.?
It was a beautiful day here at the White House. A lot of go Birds, a lot of Eagles chants, fly Eagles fly. And you saw President Trump take the stage being led out with Nick Sirianni and Lane Johnson. And then Lane Johnson and Nick Sirianni, they presented the president with an Eagles helmet and an Eagles jersey. So let's take a look at the celebration at the White House today. Remember, the first time the Eagles won the Super Bowl 7 years ago, the trip was canceled. So this is the first time the Eagles have been at the White House to celebrate a Super Bowl championship. And there were about half the starters here. We did not see Jalen Hurts. We didn't see A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith, and most of the defensive starters were not here. But the Birds celebrated their Super Bowl, and the first person the president brought on stage to speak, it was Dom DeSandro, the Eagles security chief. And, of course, President Trump singled out Saquon Barkley. But it was a day of celebration. A lot of people from the Delaware Valley, special guests of the White House, they were here to celebrate both Lombardi trophies here at the White House.
So I want to congratulate and we're thrilled to welcome everyone to the White House, special place, and to celebrate the Super Bowl 59 champion, the Philadelphia Eagles.
What an incredible year it was for us, really having the chance to play the team that we lost to a couple years before and come through. But I want to thank Mr. Lurie just for creating a championship organization and culture. Howie Roseman putting the time in, everybody on the coaching staff. Just what a wonderful season it was. And we're not done. We're ready for another round. So
it's truly an honor to be here. I remember as a little boy the championship teams that came to the White House, and I'd never dreamed we'd be able to, you know, have a team and be as good as this. And this was a dominant team with incredible culture, everything we all believe in as the best human values: selflessness, humility, teamwork, talent, discipline, everything that we all strive for, this team incorporated. So thank you for the hospitality today, and go Birds.
And President Trump is actually campaigning for the Eagles now, and he's endorsing something that the Eagles support, and that is the tush push. President Trump says the NFL should keep the tush push, and Nick Sirianni, when he spoke, he thanked the president for supporting the tush push. By the way, one last thing as I send it back to you, President Trump also took a little shot at the Giants. He said when he spoke to the Giants coaches a year ago, 2 years ago, he said, you got to keep Saquon Barkley, and they, of course, did not keep him. Big smile on Howie Roseman's face I saw when President Trump brought that up. So I'm John Clark here at the White House on a beautiful day, sending it back to you.
Thanks so much, John. We appreciate you.
Barrett, who do you think they pick tonight?
I think it's easy. I think Jihad Campbell. If he's there, I'm going with Jihad Campbell.
The Philadelphia Eagles select Jihad Campbell, linebacker, Alabama. did it again. Why is it best in the biz? They do not.
He was like, you know what this is? You know what this is? I'm like, nah. And then that's when he's like, it's Howie Roseman. I was about to break down, man.
This was a top 10 player on our board. For us, it was a no-brainer. Local kid, great character. So we were really excited to have him.
We got to win another freaking Super Bowl next year, man. It's on.
I love it. Plenty of fireworks for the Eagles night one of the draft. They traded up one spot for Jihad Campbell, linebacker out of Alabama, just like Barrett predicted. Introduced on Friday by the Birds, South Jersey native coming home. Earlier today, I spoke with his head coach at Bama, Kalen DeBoer. What kind of player are the Birds getting in Jihad Campbell?
Yeah, I mean, from a player standpoint, he's going to be sideline to sideline. He's very versatile. You know, I know we played him a lot off the ball, but in certain packages we could put him on the edge. And I know that's really what he was coming out of high school, was that edge pass rusher. So, you know, I feel like he's really grown. I think there's a lot of great room for improvement when it comes to playing off the ball, which is exciting because the athleticism's there, the desire, the want to, the willingness to work is all there. And so I know that his best football is definitely ahead of him still. And he's already, you know, playing at a very high level.
You mentioned, you know, coming off the edge, off ball. Eagles hadn't taken an off ball linebacker since 1979 in the first round. And the versatility with which this defense runs. Vic Fangio obviously has taken guys who are traditional linebackers and made them edges. He's made edges into linebackers. You look at around the league, at least here in Philadelphia, and even in the division with Abdul Carter now with the Giants coming out of Penn State, and then Micah Parsons down there with the Cowboys. Off-ball linebackers, edge rushers. Where do you think that he's going to be most successful? Do you think it really matters if they put him at one or the other?
No, probably not. You know, and I guess I naturally, just because of how he's played for us, think of him as a linebacker, just because you can run, you can pressure. He's so good at finishing, though. Like, you want to get him around the ball. He's going to do it on his own because he can run, but he's also, if you can get him schematically, you know, close to the ball, he gets the ball carrier, he gets the quarterback. It doesn't matter who it is. He has that knack to get the guy to the ground. And so I think, you know, being that versatile linebacker that he is, man, what a great get. I know he'll just add to the great mind and the tools that you have there in Philadelphia.
So you were with him when he got drafted. He grew up not that far from here over in Gloucester Township, and he had to just be so excited. You know, we found old tweets of him tweeting about the Eagles when they were getting guys like Devontae Smith. So what was that experience like for you to sit next to him, not only as one of your players getting drafted, but basically getting drafted by his hometown team?
You know, I probably didn't realize the impact that getting drafted by his hometown team, not just on him, but his entire family. And he is a family guy. And so it was if there's anything I've ever seen him get overwhelmed by, it was the feelings and emotions and the excitement that he had, you know, being drafted by Philadelphia. And so it's, you know, it's just great to see guys land where they're supposed to land and where they feel excited, and just, you know, he's really looking forward to, you know, bringing whatever he can to make his hometown team, you know, go to the next level, which is going to be a tough task. But man, he's ready to do it. He's a guy that can do it.
We're excited to have him. Thanks so much, Coach. I appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
We'll check out the numbers Campbell put up in his final season for the Tide. 117 tackles, 5 sacks, 11.5 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, and a pick. Earned him some all-SEC honors. With more on what makes the linebacker so special, Barrett, why don't you break it down for us?
You know what? The first couple of breakdowns, I just want to see how good of an athlete he was, how he can run around, make plays, run through people. I want you to see how aggressive he was. Well, now I want to show you how schematics, what he can do in different situations as far as doing what a player is asking him to do. And when I watched film, I saw it. Here it is right here. This is South Carolina's quarterback. We're talking about a quarterback that can run. He's a dual threat. So you got to mush rush him. You got to make sure he stays in the pocket. So what does he do? He comes off the corner. He hits him, checks to see where the quarterback is, then speeds around the corner and still makes the sack. That's what you know you do it. And here, this next play. This is a great play. Look, they got a wing player out here. They want to chip him to get him on. What is he going to do? I'm going to beat the chip inside and beat the tackle inside. go get a sack. That's what you want to see a guy do. And this one is a passing play. He know he has zone. On this, he has zone. He does not want to let his offensive guy inside the box. So how does he play it? He walls him off, goes and makes a play. You will not score. But then I have to go back to him being an athlete. Him going out there and just making a play. They're on the goal line. Go get him, son. Go get it. Go make a play. Just run off court and go make a play. He could have almost handed the ball off to him. That's how fast this guy is. He can run. He can do it all. I had to show you again. Come on now. I want to thank my editors. Thank you guys for making this happen. My producer, just to show how good of an athlete he is, how he fits in the scheme of what the Eagles want to do. Vic Fangio knows he has a diamond in the rough right here. A diamond in the rough.
Diamond in the rough. They got him. You called it, 31. Let's check out our Birds Trivia B. Prior to Jihad Campbell, who was the last player the Eagles drafted 31st overall? Oh, yeah, you got to think about it for a minute. You might not remember this guy, but some might out there. We'll have the answer. Plus, we discuss Dallas Goedert's future when we continue. Back with our Birds Trivia. Before the break, we asked you, prior to Jihad Campbell, who was the last player the Eagles drafted 31st overall? The answer is...
Survey says...
in the 2005 draft, Mike Patterson. Patterson drafted 31st overall in that 05 draft after the Birds had lost the Super Bowl in 2004 to the Patriots. Patterson was a defensive tackle out of USC, solid starter for the Birds for 8 seasons. Fun fact. In all, the Eagles used 10 draft picks but did not take a tight end. That's a big surprise. Despite consistently discussing Dallas Goedert's future as being uncertain, it seemed like that was one of the locks, but you did not see them take a tight end. So you got to wonder, does that bode well for Dallas Goedert to stay with the Birds next year?
I want him to stay regardless of what's going on. I mean, they got to work out a deal in which he'll be more friendly of a cap number for him to stay here. Does it happen? I hope so. Will it happen? I hope so. But, you know, both sides have to agree on something. You know what I mean? Dallas Goedert understands, you know, he got his first. You only get 1 or 2 great contracts. Well, this was his first great contract. He wants another one. Give the man an opportunity. He's just 30 years old. Well, he hasn't turned 30 yet, but he will be just 30 years old. Give him a little money, you know, let him come. His, you know, the way he plays on the field is well worth what, you know, they're asking him to do, the money they're trying to give him.
Does it help that he had such a good postseason?
Yes,
that's
of
the
course.
freshest in your mind, right?
Well, you see what happened. You know, see our guys that, you know, played great in the Super Bowl, got paid.
Yeah, there you go. And he did just that.